Hello and welcome to this, another update. 3 months have gone already and it is now spring. It is the 27th of March and plenty of things have been happening here whilst you weren't watching. And if you were watching, you'll know all about it. But if you weren't, you don't. It is the big video where I tell you all about the things that have changed and I tell you all about the things that have remained the same. Let's start with something that has remained exactly the same, and that is this car here. On the previous update I promised that I would get around to doing the head gasket, and I haven't, and that's because I've not had a chance. I have had a chance to do lots of other things which I shall talk about soon, and now it's run out of petrol. At least I think that's what it is. Could be something else. Hope it's not. Running out of petrol? Yes, of course. Well, obviously I haven't put any petrol in it. I just use it at the moment to block that door. I daren't go away for an evening and not leave the door completely blocked because there are just too many rats about. Recently though, I've just been pushing it out of the way. With the tyres all pumped up as they should be, etc. I've got the manpower to just simply push it out of the way so I can get into the lockup. However, with recent times and the electricity issue, I have been wanting to have the door swung wide open, and that's a bit more difficult. Great door shut sound. In here we see the lack of light and the lack of motivation. There's been some rather interesting developments in here, so let's talk about that. The three-legged Ape van was stuffed into the corner there rather nicely, but now it's gone. It's got itself a new home. It wasn't mine, so I didn't get paid for it, but I am happy to have the space back, because although it was fun to have the thing here and get it going and ride around in the yard in it, I mean, do you ride it or drive it? Because actually you sit in it and it is a van. You can't really ride a van, can you? But then it is a motorbike as well. I don't know, I'm kind of waffling here, and I'm promising myself not to do waffling because I don't want people switching off. And with Zippy out of the way, I now have this space, which you may have seen, but I'm going to presume you haven't, and that's the whole point of these updates, is because there will be people that don't watch my videos, but still like to know what's going on. And this is what's going on. My little area for doing videos. I really like it. Do you like it? It's also a great place for opening up parcels that people send to me. And today I've been blessed with another couple of items that I shall open afterwards, and I've got no idea what's in them. Exciting indeed. And what else is exciting is this fantastic tripod that I have there. A gift from Senior Mustard, who has now sadly disappeared 300 miles away off to Kent. And when I say disappeared, he hasn't disappeared, he drove there in his car. He took away the trailer that he gave to me as well, and he's promised to give it me back. But this tripod is going to get its first outdoor use today, because although it isn't raining at the moment, it is a little bit breezy, and I can confidently stand my phone on this and not worry about it getting blown over, which is perfect for talking about my Volvo. Yes, again, it's going to be a rather boring conversation, this, because it's just the same thing. It's the car that just does everything, except I do really like it. And I'm still not bored with it. I haven't washed it in ages and I still like the look of it no matter how dirty it is. It is the ultimate family car, and all I'm going to do is just repeat myself over and over again with the same stuff. What else can I say about it? It doesn't lose any oil, the tyres haven't worn out, it still drives fantastically, and it's still quite good on fuel. And I really don't want to sell it. Of course I don't want to sell it. What kind of idiot would I be to sell this car? Very, very idiotic idiot, that's what. Quite simply, one of the most exciting developments in the past 3 months is this. The return of a car called Mabel. Just like many a car I've had in my hands, this is one of those that just keeps coming back. But this time it's going to have to stay, due to the circumstances in which I've found myself owning it again. This is the third time. It wasn't even gone that long before it came back. It was in the capable hands of a man called, can't quite make my mind up, Aaron, who very, very generously donated it to the channel. And when I say the channel, I mean, well, me. Although he spent quite a lot of money doing jobs on this car, he came to the conclusion that the rot on the sill really does need sorting out properly, and he was quoted a price that he simply couldn't justify. So rather than just selling it on, knowing that the next MOT it will probably fail and could easily end up just being scrapped, he gave it to me, so long as I sorted it out, and I will do. Still runs and drives lovely. But once I took off this sill cover, we can see a bit of rust there. That's not such a big deal, but you might say that this actually is. That was filled with expanding foam. From a previous repair job that wasn't a particularly good repair job. Not by me, I might add. That job was done long before I acquired the car in the first place, and surprisingly it stood up okay. But now it hasn't. Now it really does need grinding back and sorting out. The seats seem better days as well. Excellent door shut sound. Whilst Mabel has suffered with the elements somewhat over the past few years, it's also suffered from some carelessness, not by me I might add, by somebody else. Suffered at the hands of somebody's clumsiness, ended up with this broken lens and a slight dent just there. Because of the big swinging metal doors. But not this one. No, this one, which shouldn't have been unpinned in the first place. Somebody truly careless or truly stupid just let it go, didn't they? I could be annoyed. I could be, but I'm not going to be. What's the point? There's not a lot of point in being annoyed by stuff usually, and I'm going to choose not to be. Let's talk about James the Freelander. Actually, let's not bother talking about James the Freelander because there's nothing to report. It's still just here. Nobody wants anything off of it, or so it seems. But they don't just get rid of it because somebody might then decide they want something off of it. So at the moment it's just being used to store things in, like boxes. Good for storing boxes in because it's empty otherwise. There we go, that's exciting. About as exciting as it gets for this motor. How much excitement can I really be expected to show about such a thing? About the same as what's going on down here, I suppose. Hi, Tom's car. What can be said about this? Again, nothing really. It's still here in exactly the same state. Although Tom has been around whilst I've not been here. He managed to annoy me. He managed to annoy my neighbour by blocking the gate. What I really need now is to talk about something I am excited by, and there are quite a few things. Well, I am excited to talk about some of the things I've had sent to me. This sent to me by a chap called Jerry when he saw me struggling with Nigel's gearbox. Nigel's gearbox. Now that's something that wasn't complete in the last update video, but now it has very much become an exciting development because I completed the job. I didn't enjoy completing the job, but I did complete the job and now it works. Before me here are the set of 16-inch grid spoke wheels that were on the car called Nigel, which is rather excellent news because that's the last time the wheels will be changed on this car, because now it has the wheels that I've always wanted. Look at these rather stunning, if a bit tarty, 17-inch 11-spoke alloys. They're the ones I always wanted, not necessarily in white, and they wouldn't look great on any other Rover really, but on this one, very different matter. Now, somehow it's complete. Not only are these wheels the ones that I always wanted, but these have actually been refurbished as well. So there's not a mark on them, except for a bit of dirt. But the old thing hasn't gone entirely without a little bit of suffering. And this, unfortunately, is my fault. I need to reattach this bumper a bit better. I need to reattach this bumper a little bit better. And whilst this wing is starting to show just a little bit of corrosion, this one is starting to show just a bit of dentage. And all because I was clumsy enough and not forward thinking enough to not back the MG into it. Well, I say I didn't actually back the MG into it. I took it out of the lockup, it stalled, the battery was flat, and I started pushing it backwards. But I caught the door on the wing, and it's my rather bonkers idea to have the headlining somewhat match the outside. Potentially it was just a temporary thing to see whether I liked it or not, and I do like it. I think it's rather groovy, but I haven't used the correct kind of glue and it's peeling in places, and even a couple of sections have actually fallen off altogether. And to top off the really rather good news section of this video, I now have a new MOT on Nigel. Yes, that means Nigel will, as I've said before, go to the ball. Going to the ball, going to the ball. Nigel will be going to the ball being quite possibly Pride of Longbridge. I just need to be able to trust it again, because it's been not exactly, well, I wouldn't say unreliable, but it's had a few problems over the past year, and that's why it's done so little miles. 600 miles since its previous MOT. Not a lot of things can go wrong in that kind of mileage, and it hasn't. In fact, quite a few things have gone right. Quite a few repairs have been done on this motor now. It's starting to not be such a cheap thing after all. Only joking, of course it is. In the last update video, I talked about how Dr. Crane is still serving me well. Well, now it's not. Unfortunately, something has come adrift here, where this attaches to that. It no longer attaches. And that means as you pump up the crane, it doesn't actually go anywhere because it just drops back off again. It needs welding back together, which is something I never thought would happen. But I could be pleased that it's happened now like this, because if that had given way whilst it was hoisting an engine, that potentially would have been quite dangerous, or even at least embarrassing. And now, something new to the yard, something unexpected, something that I mentioned in a previous video that if anyone watched it all the way to the end, they may have assumed it was a joke. Well, it isn't. And no, I'm not talking about the hailstone in March, but this here. The Range Rover Sport. The car that I test drove last week and vandalised. This genuinely is here to be taken apart. And although that may seem like a strange thing to do, it's been requested and it's just not financially viable to fix the couple of problems that it has and then go ahead and pay the road fund license as well, which is exuberant, which is extortionate, which is the main reason actually. This big, comfortable luxury car with so many nice things on the go is such a shame to be in a position where I'm going to be taking it apart. I will benefit greatly from this because of the deal that I had put on the table for me. I mean, if it could just sell as a complete car, it'd be a lot easier for me, but that's not going to happen. I've already advertised it as parts. Will it start? No, it won't. The battery's not very good on it. Lucky that I found this out once I got it back, rather than whilst I was out driving it, because I was out in the middle of nowhere and I stopped a couple of times to walk around it and take video, etc., talk. If the battery would have gone wrong then, I'd have been in the shit. So what was a very expensive car with an absolute fortune spent on it over the past 4 years has now become an expensive ornament. Drop links, the cam belt needs doing, and the suspension developed a fault once I got back here as well. So now it won't start. Normally in these circumstances I would simply put it on charge and rectify the matter, but one of the biggest developments that's happened here ever has been the no electricity issue, which isn't going to get rectified, not by having the electric put back on. In my previous video I talked at length about this kind of thing. You may have seen it or you may not have done. Maybe you saw the thumbnail and thought, I don't really want to watch that particularly. That sounds a bit depressing. Well, it isn't. It isn't, not really. I mean, it's a big setback, but there are ways and means around these kind of things. And off the back of this, I've found myself with a bit of a sponsorship, which I shall go into detail with probably in a week's time when I go up to Blackpool to see a man called Alan. A crisis very much gives some people the opportunity to be very kind, and I appreciate all of the things that have happened, all of these gifts, such as the emergency tea making kit and the torches sent by Pi, not Pi. There's a video on the other channel for this if you want to see it. Even my brother's come to the rescue with a loan of this particular kit here, which he uses for his business. Now this is a big power bank. I've got it for the weekend just to try it out, see whether it's actually really up to what I need. It can charge your phone easily, but can it boil the kettle? Well, it looks like it will spend 39 minutes boiling the kettle. I'm never going to need 39 minutes worth of kettle boiling. I don't think I am anyway. It's now worthwhile mentioning the lockup of doom, which is this area here, which is now lit with this lamp for the moment. I've done lots and lots of organisation of parts, so much so that I got bored of talking about it, so I'm not going to talk about it now. In fact, I'm just going to talk about this car here, a fantastically trophy blue MGTF, which I replaced the door handle on. But there's more, because I need to replace the bottom arm, which is going to mean buying a bottom arm and releasing the subframe so I can take this long bolt out. That's going to be fun. And I say that without really even being sarcastic. I am actually looking forward to doing it. I don't know why, because it sounds like a right pain in the arse of a job to do. Best check I disconnected the battery? Yes, I did. That's good. I'm quite excited by the idea of having another MG in my life. So I can revisit that moment of midlife crisis that I enjoyed so much a couple of years back. But this time, it's not an F, so it's not quite as good, but it's still good. Speaking of things that don't have a very good door shut sound, there's this. The old LDV recovery truck called Not Transit Face. Still in my possession. Still haven't got around to do anything with it besides occasionally trying to charge the battery and move it around the yard to stop the brakes from getting stuck on it. But is the battery up to anything today? That's the question. Should I even try it? I mean, is there any need to? Because I'm not going to be driving it anywhere. No, it needs charging. It is true that I have my work cut out for me with this particular vehicle because it does need quite a bit of welding, and I couldn't really run a welder off of a power bank, I don't think. So I'm going to be on the lookout for a generator so I can do exactly that job. It will be fun to be doing welding and making loads of noise at the same time, as long as the neighbours here don't mind. I don't suppose they will actually. Finally, we have the rather sad looking Christine, the press release Rover 45. Its paint is sad. It's damp on the inside. The steering wheel has gone mouldy, and it's time something really happened with it. Because I'm still waiting for last September for my friend Dan to buy it, and I've got a feeling he's not going to. And I said exactly the same thing 3 months back, but now it's looking even less likely. He's not been in contact. So it's going to be time to just get it MOT'd and then put it up for sale, because it needs to go. It really does. And I don't need it. Last time I was talking about how I may well just keep it for myself, because I like having a Rover in my life. But I've got Nigel, and I've got Mabel as well. And as much as I like this car, I prefer Mabel. And I can't sell that one. This video has been a bit different to all the other ones. If you're lucky enough to remember the first time I did, an update video. It was quite simply an idea that I had because I broke the screen on my phone and I couldn't do any editing. And so I did the whole thing in one take. And it was cack. And I just don't get along with just doing things in one take like that. This time it's been over 2 days, which is kind of really going off the point somewhat. But as you can probably tell, I am on my way home now. And the only thing left to mention is that the bike, the electric bike, I've been using that quite a bit recently just to save a bit of money on fuel. But it doesn't work when you start carrying heavy things around with you everywhere. So all that's left now is to say thank you for watching, and thank you for being a subscriber, and a super big thank you for being a channel member, and a really big thank you for commenting and liking and watching it to the end. And the biggest thanks of all has to go to all of the people who've been generous enough to help me out with a few things recently. I know I keep saying thank you, but I mean it. Bye bye.